Hey, where'd that go? Where'd it go? I asked, my concern growing. What's that? As I pondered what was happening, my husband faced a demotion due to increasing work mistakes. He'd never been a diligent worker, so the news didn't shock him much, but his forgetfulness worsened, prompting us to visit the hospital. Music. I suspected depression at first, but the diagnosis stunned me. It was juvenile Alzheimer's, a form of dementia. I knew young people could get it these days, but the reality of my husband having it hit me hard. My name is Katie Smith. It's been 5 years since then. I'm now 50, and my husband is 54. Music. We never had children, and I continued working. My parents have passed away, but my husband's parents are still alive in the countryside nearby. They're caring people. When he was diagnosed, they even offered to take him in, suggesting I should consider divorce. But my husband, who had always disliked living in the countryside, vehemently refused that option. I didn't consider divorce immediately upon his illness either. We had been together for nearly 2 decades, bound by fate, not just by vows of sickness and health. It felt wrong to entertain thoughts of saying goodbye just because he fell ill. Despite his increasing forgetfulness, he could still manage a semblance of normalcy. Perhaps the medication slowing the disease's progress was working. His condition wasn't debilitating. He still recognized me, though sometimes he wouldn't respond. In his better moments, he seemed almost like his old self. However, he often claimed not to know or remember when asked about certain things. Work became increasingly challenging. He'd cry over incomprehensible paperwork and eventually suggested quitting. Unable to deny my anxious husband, I supported his decision, and he left the company. He seldom ventured outside now, spending most of his days at home. While he occasionally left things out or made a mess with food, it didn't bother anyone else, so I accepted it as part of his behavior. Since leaving his job, he's been at home. I consulted the doctor about arranging care for him while I worked, but he assured me he could still recognize danger and manage at home for now. The doctor advised me to revisit the situation as the disease progressed, instructing us to ensure he locks the door and doesn't go out alone. I still worried about whether he would be okay alone, but he insisted it's okay to be alone, and occasionally lost his temper if I pressed too much. Shut up, I'm sick. Don't talk about unnecessary things. You're confusing my head more and more. Be considerate to me. I had to leave him be because I couldn't handle his outbursts. 5 years before his illness was diagnosed, at 40, I was promoted to section manager. My salary increased, so even after he left his job, we weren't in financial trouble. With no children, our savings remained intact, providing a cushion for any unforeseen circumstances. I was grateful for my work, hoping life would stay as normal as possible. Yet one concern nagged at me. Items frequently went missing. It was often brand-name bags I cherished, recently bought shoes and clothes, or other valuable items I treated myself to. I searched everywhere, wondering if I'd misplaced them, but they never turned up. When I asked my husband, all he could say was, "I don't know." "Hey, do you remember taking anything out?" I asked again. "No, I don't remember," he repeated. I wondered if his illness had progressed to the point where he didn't recall taking them. When I returned from work and asked about his day, he often replied, "I can't remember." The doctor had mentioned the disease could progress slowly or rapidly, making me anxious about leaving him alone. If he started wandering, I wouldn't manage alone. Worried, I installed surveillance cameras in the house without telling him. What if he starts wandering around, bothering other people? I don't want that. If it happens, I'll have to handle it. A week later, after my husband had gone to sleep, I nervously checked the camera footage. What I saw shocked me beyond belief. I had no idea this was happening. My husband was bringing a woman into our home. For the past 5 years, I hadn't had a proper conversation with him. He always responded vaguely to my questions. But in the video, he spoke normally without any signs of dementia. It was hard to reconcile this with his diagnosis. What's more, I was even more stunned when I recognized the woman. It was the same female doctor who diagnosed him with dementia at the hospital where he had his company medical checkups. Was this some sick joke between my husband and the doctor, or was his dementia diagnosis a complete lie? Had she been fooled by him all along? Not at all. Dementia is convenient. I don't have to work, and I can just say I don't remember anything inconvenient. What a terrible man. You make your wife work while you relax at home and bring your mistress here. You were the one who suggested it. When I said I was tired of working and wanted to quit, you thought it was a good idea. I didn't expect it to go so smoothly, the woman said, crossing her legs and laughing with my husband. She's quite arrogant, isn't she? I don't know if she got promoted to section chief or something, but she's making more money than me. She's surpassing me. I'm sure she looks down on me. But thanks to her, we get to spend time like this. Well, she's my ATM, so she better keep working hard. You called her your housekeeper the other day. She's both my housekeeper and my ATM. As these words flashed across the screen, my mind went blank. They echoed in my head over and over. Oh, and Hannah, don't take too much stuff out of the house. My wife noticed some things missing. She said, why don't you just take them out and pretend they're gone? It's a disease. You can just say you forgot. Well, that's true. No other disease is as convenient. No, I won't have to work for the rest of my life. So, that's what this was. What was I supporting him unquestioningly for 5 years? I've worked hard, done all the housework without knowing what I was doing. I felt like a fool, drained of all my strength. Suddenly, I burst into laughter. I wondered if I had gone insane. That's how angry, sad, frustrated, and hopeless I felt. And the despair didn't stop there. When I checked my bank account, it was empty. All the savings I had accumulated since we got married were gone. I felt utterly lost, like it was the end of the world. I felt nothing when Dawn broke the news. My husband woke up, his face nonchalant as ever. The sight of him ignited a simmering rage within my emotionless soul. Where's breakfast? I wanted to grab him by the collar and unleash all my fury, but I held back. He still didn't know I knew the truth. I struggled with the urge to confront him, to demand an apology right then and there, but I was lost. I knew if I confronted him, he would just smile and say, you found out, didn't you? What are your plans for today? What's with the sudden interest? I'm curious about what you do at home all day. I wish I could work like you, but I'm sick. I end up causing trouble for everyone around me. I envy your ability to work. His brazen words stunned me. Despite his clear betrayal, I could use this as grounds for alimony and divorce. Yet as I pondered the last 5, frustration overwhelmed me and tears streamed down my face. People who could act with such impunity would typically say, I was just joking, and then weave a web of excuses with illogical reasoning. Days passed as I wrestled with what to do. Just seeing my husband's face made me nauseous, but I endured it stoically. The hidden camera remained in place. Unaware of my knowledge, he continued to bring the doctor into our home whenever I was out of town. One day, I asked, did anyone visit today? I thought I smelled someone else. He replied casually, maybe someone came by, but I don't recall. Could have been a salesman. So, how have you been feeling? You seem better lately. Are you taking any medication? I don't think so. I've been more forgetful lately. The doctor had said the disease could be slowed but not cured. That doctor was quite beautiful, wasn't she? Was she? I can't remember her face. I was oddly impressed by his ability to maintain this facade for so long. Unable to stay silent, I visited my in-laws with the recorded video in hand, without informing my husband. They had always been kind to me, but they were his parents. I braced myself for their reaction. No matter how bad he might be, he was their son, and they might take his side over mine. They might blame me for my husband's infidelity, saying I wasn't good enough as his wife. Some might call me unfit for not understanding his reluctance to work even after such deceit. I had no one else to confide in. If both of them blamed me, I thought I might just give up, stay silent, and file for divorce. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm sorry to call you out of the blue, but I need to talk to you about something. What's wrong? You look so exhausted. What happened? Well, please come up. Are you hungry? I'll make something warm for you. My mother-in-law's words nearly brought me to tears. I didn't need to worry at all. My parents-in-law, after seeing the video of my husband's affair with the female doctor, immediately apologized to me, tears streaming down their faces. Stupid boy, Katie, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry, they said, holding my hands as we all cried together. It felt like a weight had been lifted from my shoulders after holding onto tension for so long. But even with their support, my anger toward my husband didn't disappear. Still, I was genuinely happy to have someone on my side now. There was one more thing that brought me joy. To my surprise, I received a promotion offer to become a department head. Knowing there was a place where my hard work was recognized reassured me that I had a future ahead. Hey, Katie, are you listening? What? Oh, sorry, I was lost in thought. Music. I was just thinking about how to deal with my husband and I got carried away. It's not funny if both you and your husband end up losing your minds. His words sparked a thought in me. I wonder if you'd take care of me if I ever lost my mind. Are you kidding? I can barely handle myself. I couldn't possibly take care of you, I retorted, and my husband looked at me wide-eyed in response. From then on, I began repeating some of the things my husband used to say every day to make it seem more real. Hey, what was I doing earlier? I've been making so many mistakes at work lately. I seem to be forgetting things. I even forgot how to use the washing machine or cook rice. I'd say, watching my husband grow increasingly nervous. But I'm glad you're here. One evening when I returned from work, I discovered that my husband had left the house. He'd left behind filled-out divorce papers and a polite note. I don't want to cause you any more trouble, so I've decided to divorce you. Please don't look for me, Ken. I knew he fled, thinking I might have dementia. I also knew exactly where he'd gone. He'd rented an apartment to continue his affair with the female doctor, as revealed by the hidden video. I'm getting a divorce. It won't be funny if I have to take care of you. I've moved my savings to another account so I won't have to worry about money for a while, he'd said, laughing. He'd courteously included his new address. Knowing the doctor's neighborhood from their conversations, I went straight there. She was married and lived with her family in a suburban house. Without hesitation, I filed the divorce papers and sent bills for alimony and property division to my husband's new apartment. I also sent a certified mail bill for alimony to the female doctor. It seemed my husband received it promptly, as he called me right away. What the hell? What's all this about alimony? My husband exclaimed. Of course, it's alimony for cheating on me, I retorted calmly. What? Oh, and I sent a bill to that lady doctor too. I'm sure her husband must have found out by now, and they're going through a tough time. In addition to sending one to the doctor, I also forwarded the video captured by the hidden camera to my husband. I thought her husband had a right to know. How did you find out about that? He asked incredulously. I was just as surprised. It's hard to believe it was all a lie. I guess I learned from the best, I replied coolly. You? My husband's face twisted in anger as he tried to process what I'd done. You're cheating, you scoundrel. Do you think you have the right to be angry at me after pretending to have dementia for 5 years and living off my earnings? You even brought another woman into our home. Do you think that's acceptable? I shot back, realizing my husband had never imagined I knew everything. He stumbled over his words. But what about property division? I don't have any property. We have your savings, I reminded him. I've already spent it all. There's nothing left, he admitted defiantly. I've exposed the camera I planted in her house. I've also told him everything you said to the doctor, I continued, presenting all the evidence I had gathered. I have solid proof. When I mentioned that his parents were aware and furious, he erupted again. How dare you tell them? He fails to understand he has no right to yell at me now, I remarked calmly. Thankfully, he kept talking, so I didn't need to hire a private investigator and spend more money, I added. After I said this, my husband fell silent for a moment, seemingly at a loss for words before abruptly hanging up the phone. The following month, I received another call. What's going on? I asked, curious. What? I went to the apartment, and they said it was already canceled, he said, sounding confused. What apartment? The one we lived in, of course. I hadn't expected him to return after leaving the divorce papers. When I mentioned that I had canceled the lease right after you left, he got angry, demanding to know why I hadn't informed him. They told me an unemployed person couldn't be a tenant, so I transferred the lease to my name when you quit your job. I had the right to decide when to terminate the lease and where to move. I bought a condo. That's where I live now. You bought it? With the alimony I received from you and your lover, and the savings I recovered. It's not large, but it's my sanctuary. Really? I'm coming over. I wonder what kind of person thinks like that. Do you have a girlfriend now? I already broke up with her. Her husband found out about the affair and divorced her. She got sued for a misdiagnosis at the hospital. Her husband and you were both pursuing alimony, and now she's in debt. Is that so? So now you want to start over with me. Then the alimony will be canceled, and I can get my money back, right? I can't deal with this anymore. Does he really think I'll accept his offer? He's even suggesting we get back together and that the alimony her husband is claiming should be returned to me. I feel like saying, "Are you out of your mind?" I muttered to myself. You're a fool. Why should I pay? We're divorced. I never want to see your face again, and there's no way I'm getting back together with you, I declared firmly, hanging up the phone and blocking all incoming calls from him. It turned out that my ex-husband then went to visit his parents. Little did he know, his parents had actually sold their house and moved into a retirement apartment. They later told me he was shocked to find their old home up for sale when he visited. With lawyers handling the division of property and alimony, he likely had little money left. Unable to secure a new job, he eventually faced eviction from his apartment. Having nowhere else to turn, he must have asked his parents for help. But they had anticipated this and downsized to a place where they wouldn't be able to accommodate him if he returned. They expressed their regrets to me, but they stood firm. I heard he's now working as a manual laborer at a factory, struggling with younger colleagues who often criticize and even mistreat him. Despite reaching out to his parents for assistance several times, they've turned him away. It's been a few months since our divorce and I still keep in touch with his parents. They become like real parents to me, always caring and supportive. I cherish our relationship and will be there for them if they ever need me. Meanwhile, I've been promoted to department manager and my salary has increased. I'm focused on working hard and enjoying the peaceful life I've created for myself.